everybody out there, this is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 25 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be giving you an update for the month of December on the best playbooks to be using right now for your MUT 25 squad. We're going to go over offense and defense. Now, before we do that, just a quick pro tip here, because I get this question a lot. If you're looking for a specific playbook and you can't find it on the auction house, the easiest, most effective, cost-efficient way to get a playbook is heading on over to item sets. You're going to use your program filter to core set, and you're going to be looking for the base team item set. So this one requires basically any 370 to 79 overall players. Hopefully the majority of you watching this video have a bunch of 70s or 71s sitting in your binder, but basically you're going to put those 3 cards into the set. In return, you're going to get a big fantasy pack that has a ton of different options, but most importantly, it's going to have playbook options in there. So once you get to the first round of the pack here, you're going to go all the way over to the right and go to base playbook fantasy pack. Once you select that one, it's going to give you your choice of offensive and defensive playbook. So depending on what you're looking for, you're going to choose that side of the football. If we want to go offense, for example, we'll select that. And then here, it's going to give us all 32 NFL team playbooks. So if we want to go out and pick one of the ones that we mentioned within this video, this is going to be the best way to go about and do it. In this same section, there is an alternate playbook set. This one's a little bit different, where you don't actually get to pick the playbook that you want. So you put 6 70 to 79 overall players into the set. In return, you're going to get a random either offensive or defensive alternate playbook. So if you're looking for like multiple defense or run and gun on offense, those things, you can buy them off the auction house, or you can try your luck with this set. I don't necessarily recommend doing this set, but I did want to point it out and bring it up. Now, we're going to be using huddle.gg as our tool to go through all of the best playbooks and show you the plays, and I highly recommend this website. You go up to the top, click playbooks, go to the Madden 25 playbook database finder, and it's going to show you every single playbook in the game, every play in the game, and there's just a lot of ways to search around here if you're looking for something specific. We're going to start on the defensive side. I made this same video back in October, and I told you guys then, and I'm going to say it again now, in my opinion, the Minnesota Vikings defensive playbook is the best defensive playbook in the game, because it gives you such a variety of different and popular formations that you're going to run up against and ones that you're going to want to run. So for example, the 3-4 bear is a really big meta right now amongst like pro players, MCS players, and I was a little wrong on that. 3-4 odd. It's a 3-4 formation, but 3-4 odd. Right now, you know, and you've probably run this play a million times against the computer, Pitch Buck O is actually a viable defense if you set it up right and you're good at man coverage and you have a solid user, because it gets a lot of pressure. So you're probably going to run into this a lot. And if you're wondering where you can find it, it's definitely in the Vikings playbook. Just a tip on this website, right? If you look towards the bottom, and it's cut off a bit here, but it will show you all of the other playbooks in the game that have the formation 3-4 odd. So obviously the 3-4 alternate playbook has it. The Cardinals have it. The Falcons have it. The rest of it's cut off, but Panthers, Raiders, Vikings were obviously in, Eagles, Patriots, Steelers, Titans, and multiple defense. And taking it a step further, if you're just specifically looking for this play, but you don't necessarily want to run the Vikings defensive playbook, we click that Pinch Buck O, and we can see all of the teams that have it. Again, Cardinals, Falcons, Vikings, Raiders, Panthers, Patriots, Eagles, Titans, Steelers. Some of it is cut off, but just wanted to show you that tool that you can use on this website if you're looking for anything specific. So you got the 3-4 odd, really popular there. 6-1 was a very popular defense last year, and it's back for the most part again this year. So you got 6-1 in this playbook. The Sam Will Blitz, the cover 4 quarters, both really, really good out of that formation. Obviously, if you've been playing this game this year, you've run into double mug, and it has the nickel 2-4 double mug here, where mid blitz and nickel dog 3 blitz and the strong safety blitz are all in the formation. So again, just another reason why this Minnesota Vikings playbook is so good. It has all of the popular and pressure generating schemes and formations and plays in here. And then you kind of have like 2 different versions of dollar, which is mainly what I run. So you got dime 1-4 and then dime 2-3 Sam. There's a lot of like dime 3-2, but it essentially gives you kind of a dollar setup, which is going to be 3 down linemen, 2 edge defenders, and then your defensive tackle. You got 2 linebackers, which can be safeties or sub linebackers in the middle, and then 4 defensive backs as far as corners go, and 2 safeties. And it's usually pretty uniform if you go like base of line. So, you know, DB Sting is one of my favorites. We had Spinner in the game in prior years. They took out Spinner. DB Sting is like the closest thing to it. I'm sure at this point you've probably run into like the double safety go, where people will flip that play and then they audible into either the free safety zone blitz. You can audible from double safety go into the cover 4 drop, and that's going to bring your 2 safeties down. But then when you audible into cover 4 drop, you basically can protect yourself from a lot of seam streaks because of those 4 blue zones being close to the line of scrimmage to help you stop the run game, but also they drop back and cover the seam streaks very well. And honestly, like cover 2 man and cover 1 robber are really good. Just basic cover 2 defense with 2 safeties over the top. You're going to be, you know, sometimes you're going to get beat with corner routes and you have to adjust accordingly to that. But I'm telling you, man, cover 2 man is such a basic and very good defense. And that's all in Dime 1-4. But if you go to Dime 2-3 Sam, you're going to see a lot of similarities, right? The double safety go, you can flip that play and then audible into the cover 4 drop. This one has DB fire, which has always been a really, really popular play because you can get that edge pressure as well, but still drop back in the zone. So I just feel like the Minnesota Vikings defense has pretty much everything. Prior to that, it was the Chiefs playbook on defense because they have, you know, the 6-1 formation that we talked about here. They have their own version, you know, Dime 3-2 is basically, you know, a variation of dollar. It's got the DB fire in there. It's got a good cover 4 with match coverage. That's one of the better zone defenses. It's got the free safety zone blitz. Hot blitz is one that I've run into a handful of times there. Zero blitz is kind of similar to the spinner from last year, except for that, you know, the DB on the right of screen doesn't blitz. He stays into a man coverage. Basically, the Chiefs have a lot of good stuff in here. Dime normal is going to put 4 defensive linemen on the field, and you still got a lot of coverage there with the double safety walk down meta. You can do that as well. You're just kind of, you know, you only got the 1 middle linebacker in the middle instead of 2. That's the biggest difference. But like I said, Chiefs defense, really, really good. I feel like the Vikings defense is just better because it has more of a variety and it just has a bunch of the very meta defenses and plays right now in the game. Now, we're going to spend the rest of the video on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of really good playbooks. A lot of these I went over back in October, and they're still very good and viable, but I recently made the switch to the Detroit Lions offensive playbook, and I do believe it's one of the better ones, if not the best in the game here. So the main reason I did it, I just want to give you kind of like what I've done throughout this year. I started the year out in the Atlanta Falcons playbook, and this is still a really, really good one. If you watch any of the MCS ladders or the MCS events, you're going to see some of the pros in this playbook. The main reason I went to this one initially is because I like tight formations and I like gun bunch. And this one had like 3 or 4 different gun bunch formations, and then it also had like 4 tight formations. So that was the main reason that I was initially running it. But the biggest problem that I ran into, and this is just kind of personal advice, if it doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. But the biggest problem that I ran into is that I had too many plays in front of me, and my play calling just became very, very bad because I didn't kind of stick to a game plan. I would just jump over to gun bunch, and you know, like the 5-1-8 hook is a really good play. I love that. Deep corner is great. Inside cross, smash return is in a million different playbooks. And again, you can click a specific play on this site, and it's going to show you the game plans that huddle.gg has with, you know, basically ebooks with this play. But also if you scroll down, and again, you can't see it because it's cut off on my screen, but it shows you that the Cardinals, Falcons, Browns, and Jets all have that play in that specific formation. But, you know, we had a lot of good stuff out of gun bunch, and then I would go to bunch offset, which also has a ton of good stuff. Like, none of these are bad. It also has a lot of really good auto motion plays, like the PA cheat switch dig, the PA cheat switch comeback are really, really good plays. Basically, all auto motion plays are really overpowerful and overpowered in this game. And then you also had the bunch wide nasty, which had an auto motion that was great. The cheat wheel post, you could streak the guy who's on this post route, and basically the running back going on a streak and this guy streaking up on the left of screen would really torch defenses, specifically deep blue zones. And then you still had 3 other receivers that you could play around with different route combinations. So all in all, it has 3 really good bunch formations, but like I said, I just found myself jumping all over the place way too much. And then when I would go to like a tight formation, you know, there's a lot of good stuff in here. There's some in and out breaking zig routes, so you don't need Hot Route Master. They took away the zig routes from the default audibles this year, and they're really good against man coverage, especially early on in the year when everybody was running, you know, mid blitz and man coverage was really hard to beat because of the pressure that was coming at you. This playbook was really good, but I just found myself jumping all over the place. So I still think the Falcons playbook is great, but it had too many plays at my disposal. So then the next thing I did is I went over to the Colts playbook, and I would still say this is a top 3 playbook in the game. It's still very good. You're going to see a lot of pros in it. And again, it's mostly because of bunch, tight, and trips. At the end of the day, those are just the meta formations. If you're trying to win more games, you're going to want to be in these types of formations. It just is what it is. The reason Colts is so good is because you could be in bunch offset, which has double post, probably one of the most overpowered plays of the last 2 years in Madden Ultimate Team and Madden in general. It's not impossible to stop, but it can be a headache against a player who makes really good reads. If you play somebody who doesn't make great reads, they're not going to be that good with it. But bunch offset, and if you're wondering why there's like a yellow border around a bunch of these plays, it's because Huddle.gg has game plans on these plays, which is just kind of another point that these are wildly popular and very good. So you could have a ton of displays, a ton of plays at your disposal in this Colts playbook for gun bunch offset, including double post, which is literally the only playbook in the game that has it. But you could also quickly audible over to bunch strong nasty, which was something really popular last year. And for me, this formation was great because it has a lot of good combinations of auto motions. I love the MTN or the motion China wheel because it has that in-breaking zig route. I would honestly block that auto motion tight end or put him on like a post route and just kind of play with route combinations on the right-hand side of the screen. The motion curls was great because it had your tight end go to a flat, and then you could take your left receiver and put him in like a corner route or a post. It was just a good way to attack defenses, and flipping back and forth between gun bunch offset and gun bunch strong nasty is a really, really good setup there because you can come out in one formation and quickly audible to another, and then your opponent's trying to adjust to one thing and then they get stuck. And again, it's just a good way to catch them off guard. It also had a good gun bunch wide. I didn't do a ton out of this, but inside zone's pretty good. Dig return is good. There's verticals in here that's really good as well. So I was in this one, and honestly, I just gotten stuck into a rut for the most part, and that's what made me decide to go to another playbook. And I'm not saying because I use it, this is the best playbook in the game, but I really, really like the Detroit Lions playbook again because it gives you some good gun bunch stuff, but it also has tight in there, and it probably has the best trips in the game. So we'll go over to gun bunch in a moment. We'll go to the tight stuff, but I'm sure you've gone up against this play a million times. Motion Y post here. You got a streak on the outside, an in-breaking zig route on the from that second receiver from left to right. The tight end goes on a post. You got the motion, which is basically a streak on the right-hand side of the field, and you got a table route from your running back. Like, it's just so hard to defend. And you mix that in there with your standard verticals play, which can be a headache to cover against a good opponent. You got that there. Halfback angle is really good. This one is also in the Colts playbook. It's good against man and zone coverage there. Dagger has been good for years and years and years because of the streak, and then the deep crosser. You got a quick drag to your tight end, and then you still got that late breaking deep in route, which, you know, after everything else is covered and you got your opponent's user running all over the place, that in breaking route usually gets open. So the trips formation in the Lions is really good, but I got to go back to the bunch nasty. And if you watched any of the last 2 MCS events, I'm pretty sure Fancy and Dez were in this playbook. And, you know, at the end of the day, this motion cross post is one of the best plays in the game. Now, we did get a patch not too long ago that made deep blue zones a lot better, but they're still not great. And this play was almost unstoppable prior to that patch. It's still really good, but in this formation, I basically run about 4 to 5 plays. The cross post motion, drive Y corner, mesh post, or mesh spot, which has always been really, really good. We talked about smash return earlier. That one's great. And then the Y option pivot. And what I found is when I just kind of stick to the same 5 or 6 plays, because you have so many different ways that you can hot route receivers, whether it's a corner route, a post route, which were things we never had without Hot Route Master prior prior to this year, you can just set up so many different offenses. And I found that really just focusing on, you know, one formation and a set of maybe 5-6 plays that attack differently, you know, various times that I run them, it's just been really, really helpful for me. And along with that, I think, and I'm not a big runner here, but the single back tight wide off flex is a really good running formation when you're trying to go ground and pound. The 0-1 trap, and I set up my custom audibles to have these 0-1 trap, halfback zone weak, and then the wide zone. It gives you basically one running play to attack each way of the field, right up the middle, one to the right, one to the left. They all get pretty good blocking. And then under Z curl is a really good one there to look for the quick drag. The corner route can get open, and then you can stretch the defense with that tight end on a streak. So I really like the Lions playbook for the things I showed you a moment ago, but also just has a really nice running scheme. So when I want to go ground and pound, or it's the end of the game and I'm trying to milk some clock there, I can go right to that formation in the Lions playbook. So again, to me, my opinion, Colts, Lions, and Falcons are probably the top 3 playbooks in the game, but there's a handful of other really, really good ones. We can't go through this video and not mention the Seattle Seahawks, and the main reason that this one is so good, and this is a popular formation that we've seen in Madden's past, is the gun bunch tight end, because you have the play. Number one, PA verticals is really good for stretching the defense there. There's also the verts wide delay. These ones just have kind of unique fade routes that you don't see in other formations or playbooks that are going to get, you know, big plays downfield. But we talked about, you know, zig routes either in or out breaking. Well, it has the whips play here, which is just tremendously good because you have 2 outbreaking ones, but they're both on the, you know, opposite sides of the field, and you can't use or control both of them. And even if you kind of do take those away, then you still got to worry about that really, really deep corner route over there on the left of screen. And then Z-spot can kind of mimic like a flood if you want to streak that outside wide receiver. Then you have a flood concept to the left. Same thing with triple out. So gun bunch is really good. Gun bunch tight end is really, really good there to attack the defense passing. And it's got your staple running plays. Obviously, the RPO alert bubble is going to be really good. So just that formation alone makes the Seahawks a really, really good option to take a look at. We talked about trips in the Lions playbook. If you like to run trips, Green Bay Packers has usually had some really good ones, and this year, once again, it does. And not only does it have that, you still got the bunch strong nasty and the bunch strong offset, which we've talked about a lot. You don't have all of the plays that we've seen in the other playbooks out of these similar formations, but you have a handful of really good ones. There's some auto motion stuff in there. So that makes this playbook good. You have some tight formations, but you also have trips tight end. Like the curl flat play has been around forever, and it's really tough to stop. Double in sail is great, and you can hot route your tight end on the right of screen to a post route, and it makes that play even better. Halfback angle is great. Anytime you can get a stock Texas route from your running back, because you do need hot route master or running back apprentice to get that this year, that's going to be ideal. The PA slot corner is amazing. This has been a play that's been around forever. If you get your trips, you're always going to have some type of inside zone, and then to have the RPO alert bubble along with that is always going to keep your opponent guessing. Y post is really good. That's kind of similar to the double in sail that I talked about earlier, and it gives you the default. It's not really a post route from the tight end there. It's kind of like a up and in, but it's still a tough route to guard. You got your standard verticals. PA shot wheel's always been good. So trips tight end in the Packers playbook, tremendously good, but you still have a lot of the other meta formations in here as well. And if I leave out any formations or plays out of this video, doesn't mean that I think they're bad. I'm just kind of giving you the best ones in my opinion to try out in the game right now. And the last one I'm going to mention is the Philadelphia Eagles, which, funny enough, I'm an Eagles fan here, but I never use this playbook. But it definitely has some good stuff in there. We talked about the gun bunch nasty. It has a lot of the formations that I showed you guys in the Detroit Lions. There's some auto motion stuff in there. You got a smash return in there, which would then breaking zig route. And if you want to slant, you know, the receiver that's already kind of breaking from right to left, you put him on a slant. It's just a great way to attack the man coverage defenses. It's got the drive wide corner. Corner out dig's pretty good as well. It's something similar in the Lions playbook. So it has that. You got some trips in there. You got some tight formations in there. Split slot isn't bad, especially if you have 2 good running backs on your MUT team. You can, you know, get pretty adjusty, if you will, with this one. Fullback inside is always a good one if you have a running back in that spot, or a fullback There's some good fullbacks in the game, but it's a good way to kind of get a two-back system going in there. And I would definitely recommend checking out, if you don't like any of the other playbooks that we recommended in this video, take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys let me know down below in the comment section, what playbooks are you using on offense and on defense? Which ones did I snub? Which one should have been in this video? We'll do another update in January or February. We'll definitely do another one before the year's over. So let me know some other playbooks that I need to check out that maybe I'm sleeping on. Hopefully this video helps. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.